Hi folks, welcome to your Gersnet immediate post-match reaction pod, coming to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering. My name's Alec Anderson and I'm speaking to you from outside a still busy, still buzzing Ibrox after Rangers' exhilarating, scintillating, coruscating, utterly draining, truly epic 2-1 win over Sparta Praha in tonight's Group C match day 4 clash in the Europa League. I usually try and do these post-match reaction pods from a quiet spot, try and find a quiet spot outside the stadium. That's been impossible tonight. The only time it was quiet out here, and I like to get outside the stadium so you get a bit of the kind of residue of the atmosphere that dominated the game that I'm talking to you about. The only time it was quiet was after it seemed like 17 hours of injury time were added by the referee. The final whistle, lap of honour for the players, a lap of honour was deserved tonight, and we all get out onto Ibrox on the Edmondson Drive. I'm coming from the main stand. And suddenly, as 50,000 people, or the best part of 50,000 people, were leaving the stadium, there was a lull. It was the kind of calm after the storm. Everybody's just taking it in, readjusting their nervous systems and saying, did we win it in the end? Did we hang on for that win there? We certainly did, and it was thoroughly deserved. After that, though, it's just picked up again. The kids were screaming like hell for autographs from the players as they left. There's taxis and all that arriving on Edmondson Drive. It's like we just won the Copa Libertadores or something. There's cars honking their horns on the boulevard, Edmondson Drive, drunk folk for the hospitality pouring out the main doors in the Belstruth stand. This Archibald Leach confection of a beautiful main stand that we've got, and pouring themselves into taxis, all going home totally contented. Look at the state of me, my chalk white face, my quintuple chins. I've not been healthy for about 3 decades, but the past few days I've been particularly a cold or something, man flu or something like that, as evidenced by my kind of morbidly laborious preview pod earlier today ahead of tonight's game. Here's somebody coming rattling some sort of trolley or something like that. It's like maracas are going or something, some atmosphere. But any idea that I had I was going to get to my bed tonight and just crash out straight away. The head was going to hit the pillow and I'd be off to the land of Nod, completely out the window after that game, in the best possible sense. As well as the worst. And the first half of that game was totally electric. Rangers were totally electric, utterly thrilling. We're all absolutely buzzing. Second half, hanging on for dear life. At times it felt like your nerves are through the floor or through the roof, wherever it is. Nerves are wanting to go. They were all singing, the cry was no surrender. I think about the 97th minute, and that was the hypocrisy was through the floor or through the roof with that one, because my insides certainly surrendered round about the 77th or 78th minute of that game tonight when Sparta pulled one back. But they weren't to get anything more out of this game. A defeat it was for them, and for the first time in our history of European football, 6 clashes. That was the 6th clash with a club from the Czech Republic, from Czechia, all being from Prague. That's the first time we haven't lost either of the 2 games, be it 2 legs or 2 group matches. So that's a little bit of history affected straight away there by Philippe Clement, and that's just in keeping with the start of his reign. 3rd season in a row, mind you, that we've had a new manager in at this time of the year, and they've always got off to a good start, but it feels there's something more to it with Philippe Clement, the experience he has as a European, as a manager in Europe in his own right, with Genk and Brugge and Monaco. And tonight, it was just absolutely smashing. Look, he's won his 3 league games in charge of us so far, and he's won his first domestic cup game in fine style at the weekend there against Hearts. It's 2 European games, I say, a bit of history already. The first Rangers manager to get a clean sheet in the Czech Republic in European duty 2 weeks ago, and tonight he put Sparta to the sword. Another one for Glenn Kamara. I know Glenn was involved when we put Sparta out 2 seasons ago on that run to Seville, and I know it was Slavia who started the garbage, but Sparta certainly co-signed that kind of toxic, willful ignorance there. So I hope you saw that one and enjoyed it tonight, Glenn. Fantastic. The manager, I think he himself knows more than anybody else that the players are due to crash. They're due to hit the floor, because I think sometimes when a positive change is made, and I was saying this in the preview pod, when a manager comes in and uplifts the place, gets everybody going again, and the players have been gushing in their praise of Philippe Clement, looks like genuinely enthusiastic, not just sooking in with the new manager when they're talking to the press these days. If you've been doing nothing because you're slightly depressed under the old manager for about 2 months of the season, to suddenly be giving it your all, even though you're enjoying yourself, is going to take a physical toll on you. There will be a crash. We just need to get past Livingston on Sunday with maximum points to get into that international break and let all this stuff about Michael Beale leaving, that goes out the system, and we come back for the rest of the season. It's all about Philippe Clement taking us forward. But I don't know if the manager has anticipated that inevitable crash in the players, and that's why he went for it from the word go tonight. But what he's done is he's got his, unbelievably, considering we've lost the manager this season, we went through so much managerial upheaval, we're now almost guaranteed, I would say, European football after Christmas, which is a little miracle in itself, even if that was in the Conference League. But more than that, we're in prime spot for second place to guarantee ourselves Europa League football, not having to drop down into the safety net of this new tertiary competition, the Conference League in its third season. We're going to be carrying on in the Europa League, it looks like. We've now won, even if we end up finishing level with Sparta, we've won the head-to-head against them. We're 3 points ahead of them, and I don't know the result in Limassol tonight. I'm assuming Betis has won it in Cyprus, but we should never assume these things. But at worst, we're going to be 2 points behind Betis in this group, and that would mean, with Sparta having a European lives to fight for, even if they wanted to stay in the Conference League on match day 5 when they're at home to Betis, we need to take care of business, obviously at home to Aris on match day 5. But we could end up going to Seville, going to the green and white half of Seville over to the Benito Villamarín on match day 6, the final group game, with a really good chance of actually topping this group and avoiding a Champions League dropout club in the last 32 by going straight into the last 16 of this competition. That would be our first tie post-Christmas. But as I say, we won't get ahead of ourselves just now, just to get through and be playing European football after Christmas with everything that's happened to us, not just this season, but the past 3 seasons. We've been losing a manager at this time of year. It's absolutely fantastic. I know we actually got to a final when Gio came in, so I don't know, maybe we're doing that Chelsea thing. Remember Chelsea under Abramovich, where they would sack a manager, but they would get into the Champions League final. That's maybe the kind of territory we're in now, but I would hope that Philippe Clement's going to be hanging on for a bit longer than the now customary year as Rangers manager. Because tonight, I don't know, as I say, if he's anticipated that we might, if we go to Seville, we might actually want to be putting the reserves out in Seville anyway. We might want it to be a dead rubber because we've got a League Cup final the following Sunday, and reserve players seem to be all we have just now, if I'm quite honest. We're down to the reserves. The squad is so thin, as the manager keeps telling us, and tonight there was no real kind of surprises in the lineup. The starting 11, Leon Balogun obviously having to drop out. He was the only change, but he's not in the European squad. He was the only change from Sunday's starting 11 against Hearts in the League Cup semi-final. And more than that, Todd Cantwell starts again tonight, but out wide on the right of that attacking 3 in the equally predictable 4-2-3-1 formation. He's on the right-hand side of that attacking 3, and Sam Lammers maintains his position at 10 behind Danilo tonight. So I think that's a wee mini drama there. Maybe looking for trouble because things are going so well just now at Ibrox. But as I was saying in that preview pod, I couldn't help thinking that the manager's comments, both after the game on Sunday and in the pre-match presser yesterday, could have amounted to a little kind of wagging of the finger at Todd Cantwell for drifting inside, for wanting to get into his natural position at 10 or over even to the left-hand side of the park, as he did at times through that first half on Sunday. And when Scott Wright came on in place of him at half-time, and we ended up tearing Hearts to pieces in the first 20 minutes of that second half, it showed that the manager, what he's talking about, this machine, he wants Rangers to become a machine that he can kind of let loose on people. They're not at that stage yet, and tonight Todd Cantwell could only drift inside, could only head towards the centre of the pitch from his right-hand berth if, as happened with that second goal, he can see it all opening up in front of him, allowing him to walk the ball into the back of the net for a glorious second goal to send the joint wild. I don't know if the manager was saying, right, let's get this game done and dusted because you lot are due a crash, your legs are about to fail you, let's go out and get this game done early doors, or if it was just the atmosphere, just the whole place being lifted. I think a lot of the players we have signed in the past couple of seasons we've got on the back of that run to Seville in 2022. BT Sport had the camera on the underside of the club deck roof and just showing Ibrox at its best. The atmosphere, which we've always known about, the word spread about it all across Europe. People saw the pictures all across Europe, and it became a place that players wanted to play. That was really in evidence tonight. The players doing that thing, which an old curmudgeon like me finds a bit kind of, I don't really like it, where they're saying to the crowd, come on, get yourselves going. I'm usually thinking, no, you get us going. It's your job. You do the playing. We'll take care of the noise if it's appropriate. But the younger fans and the whole place absolutely loved it tonight, and there was plenty of reason for everybody to be cheering the team on. maybe they were reacting to the amazing tifo from the Union Bears at the start of the game. In the early to mid 80s, there used to be a kind of 6 inches by 1 foot scabby old tin foil banner would appear in the Broomloan stand twice a season that said razzle dazzle. That tonight was proper razzle dazzle, just an electric kind of glistening, fantastic silvery red, white and blue in the Broomloan stand, and that communicated itself in what was happening on the pitch. As soon as the game kicked off, we were at it from the word go. The energy was absolutely unbelievable. Rangers just went for the jugular. Sparta play with 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, and a kind of 2-1 up front, 2 guys behind the striker, and we just went for the 3. They couldn't get out their own half. At times they could barely get out their own box. We were trying to mug them in their own box between the kind of 6-yard and 18-yard mark. We were getting in there and causing them all sorts of havoc. The only thing I remember Sparta doing, apart from giving the ball away to us in that first half, was they had a corner that kind of flashed over. Somebody cleared it over the bar quite harmlessly, out for another corner, and one of their players spooned it into the top tier of the Broomloan. And they had a huddle straight after they lost the second goal because they had to reset. They knew they were about to crash 4 or 5-0. They had a huddle in the centre circle before they kicked off again after that second goal. That's the only thing I remember about Sparta in that first half tonight. Here come the trolley people helping us celebrate with a bit of atmosphere. This guy's putting his back into it, as the whole team did tonight. He's going to make sure that trolley gets from the bins here outside the Broomloan into the skip, well over the back of the Broomloan in fine style. He's carrying on the work ethic of the team tonight. It was absolutely magnificent the way we went for the jugular, and I thank God this is a post-match reaction pod, because I really, in nights like tonight, as I've said before in these pods, I get carried away, get caught up in the moment, and it's really difficult sometimes to recall what happened. I've not seen the pictures yet. I just know that the first goal we scored, I think it was about the 12th minute. We had chances before that, maybe 5th minute, where I think it was Cantwell was going through and goal, bearing in from the right-hand side, and I don't know if he was going for the back post or he just was cut it back a bit too poorly. Danilo couldn't quite get to it at the back post, but it should have been 1-0 at that point. But no matter, I think it was the 12th minute or something, Cantwell's, somebody was bearing, no, they were trying to clear it, that's what it was. It was so reminiscent. They made us shoot towards the Copeland tonight in the first half. Sparta Prague, they obviously won the toss, and it was at the start of the half into which we shot towards the Copeland. The last time we played them at Ibrox, that one of their defenders gave the ball straight to Alfie. Remember, it was Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's first game in charge. Gave the ball straight to Alfredo Morelos, and he walked it into the back of the net. Same thing happened tonight. Ball goes to Danilo. He dispossesses their defender. Really bad for them at the back, and we walk the ball into the back of the net. Place goes crazy, and then we have a few more chances, I think. And it was maybe the 20th minute. Todd Cantwell goes maybe sortie down that right-hand side, cuts inside and walks it. There was a lot of step-overs going on. We had those 2 games, first half against Hearts on Sunday, and Hearts in the league the Sunday before that, where there was a lot of crosses being overhit. From the wings, were crossing right across the opposition box, and nobody was getting on the end of it, and they were going out for like a by kick or for a shy to Hearts on the far side. Tonight that was reduced to almost like this machine is getting calibrated, this large kind of lathe thing, this huge kind of dangerous lathe that Clement is wanting to create, is just getting finely calibrated week on week. He's getting the little parts, he's in there with the span on, what have you, making it work a bit more smoothly every time. There was lots of long balls, but they were cultured long balls, wasn't it? Punts. Conor Golson, a great game tonight, I thought, playing a lot of long balls forward where somebody was just not getting quite on the end of it. They were almost getting the toe onto it. Sima, Danilo, I think Cantwell a few times as well. They're kind of getting up there and just catching it in, rather than that kind of frustrated a big groan coming from the crowd because it's a totally overhit pass. It was that kind of, nearly. If that had come off, it would have been magnificent. We'd have been in on goal. So the machine is definitely getting more accurate in what it's been set out to do by the manager. And I thought, we're absolutely cruising in that first half. And one thing I noticed is Sparta Prague. I was making little references to Half Man, Half Biscuit songs outside Hampden on Sunday after the League Cup semi-final win, getting ahead of myself there. And somebody got in touch, and forgive me, I don't know the fella's name, I'll look it up, but somebody got in touch and was talking about Half Man, Half Biscuit's most famous tune, All I Want for Christmas is a Dukla Prague away strip. That was literally a Dukla Prague away strip that Sparta were wearing tonight. It's their away strip, and I like Adidas, and they've got that 80s style with the pinstripes, that kind of retro style. And it was the second last club we ever played in the Cup Winners' Cup, Dukla Prague, and that's pretty much the kit they were wearing, that kind of yellow. They had maroon shorts with it. I'm sure Dukla had maroon through it as well, their kit, so I don't know what was going on there. I know Dukla Prague have been through some hard times recently, but it was literally a Dukla Prague away strip as we, the whole world starts to approach Christmas. But yeah, it looks like an old lozenge or something like that. There's something, I can see what they're trying to do, but it's like maroon with yellow. And I've been talking about how we've gone through this phase of games of playing 4 teams. Four games we've had out of the last 5 are against teams in maroon. And then tonight it was like, we'll have the maroon shorts, but the yellow is preparing you for moving on the segue into playing Livingston at Almond Vale on Sunday. I don't think that's what we're up to, but it was a kind of a crappy looking old kit. It's a horrible colour. It reminds me of something you'd find at the bottom of a 10-pence mixture in the 1970s. And we kind of, we sucked them in and we spat them out tonight in that first half. Second half, Sparta made a few changes. A couple of changes at half time. Ironically, with Todd Cantwell getting taken off on Sunday after copping a booking in the first half, getting taken off at half time, the guy who copped a booking for kicking him, the big number 5, he went off at half time tonight, and they made a few changes and they changed their mindset as well. Sparta, they came out and they went for it big time in the second half, and we were under pressure. We never really got going properly, trying to kind of hit on the break, and they were targeting. Us having made the best of their 3 men at the back in the first half, they seem to be making the best of the 3 men they have up front in the second half. They were doing that thing of, I'm going to try and walk away from all this noise here. They were doing that thing of playing between our centre halves and our fullbacks and our wing backs, and getting great joy out of it. I think just under the hour mark, was it, they brought on the top scorer, the number 22, Harris, I can't really get the fella's name, but on he came anyway, and you're thinking, right, here we go, they're stepping this up a gear. They kept making these substitutions. The number 14 that they've got on loan from Toulouse, who played against us for Malmo in that Champions League disaster a couple of seasons ago, he was giving us a real hard time tonight as well, especially in that second half. Tav largely doing well, but a couple of moments where we were almost playing them in more than they were getting in behind us as the legs were starting to go. And eventually they pulled, I can't really remember what happened, but they pulled the ball across our goal, and in it goes for 2-1, I think around about the 78th minute. 77th minute, and after that you're like, oh, we went straight up the park. The heart sank, but they went straight up the park and we get the ball in the back of the net. Danilo has the ball in the back of the net. I don't really know what happened. There was it's up the far end of the park. The nerves are all over the place. I think Danilo was done eventually for fouling somebody. There was something, maybe it was offside, but the Sparta players were going absolutely crazy. One of them got booked, and next thing the referee goes, and while I'm in the middle of doing the old underarm celebration towards the Sparta fans for their racism and telling them to sit down again, the referee comes out and, no, it wasn't a goal, and you're back to that horrible situation where not only do you know it's still 2-1, but you've had that feeling of relief thinking it's 3-1, the game's done, but you have to go back and find new energy. It's a really tough one, that, psychologically, but the players did come through it. It wasn't tidy, it was getting a bit messy towards the end. Ross McCausland comes on, and Sam Lammer stays on the park as Todd Cantwell goes off. I don't know if it's about his fitness, I don't know if the manager's trying to make some sort of point, but Cantwell goes off before Lammers, and Ross McCausland comes on, and he was fantastic. Played a lovely ball into Danilo that we should have done better from. He did a job. The players hung in there. And they saw it out, and the joint went wild, and it just feels right now like the world is our oyster, but we just need to get this game done on Sunday, get the 3 points from Livy, and then let's recalibrate. Now you go home tonight and look it up, I don't know if you can get it on Prime or whatever, but Christian Bale in The Machinist. It's a dark film. It's a dark film, but it'll make you think. It makes more sense when you watch it, having listened to Philippe Clement in yesterday's pre-match presser when he's talking about Rangers being a machine. We sucked them into our machine in the first half tonight, and they came out missing an arm, I think, in the second half. But they made a game of it, Sparta. But we got through it in the end, and we're going to be. It looks like we're going to be in Europe after Christmas, which is a fantastic achievement, considering all we've been through already this season. Tomorrow night on the preview pod, 9 p.m, live on our YouTube channel, it's Craig, and he is talking to debutant Scott, so please tune in for that. They'll have proper analysis with a bit more detail than I could provide you with tonight. But what a result, troops, and enjoy your Friday and enjoy your Saturday as well, and we'll see you Sunday. well, we'll see you Friday. My nerves are all over the place.